Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy Hodges, advocate for OCD, in particular pure OCD, which is also the name of my memoir, Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. I am a certified peer support specialist working with people worldwide to provide support. I can provide referrals. I run groups through my practice, and I also run an online community. And inside that community, you can meet other people. We have events, community classes, and weekly support groups. Email me or message me through my website at chrissyhodges.com to find out more or to learn how to join any of those types of services that I offer. NoCD, NOCD is an app. Inside that app, you can meet other people. They have all kinds of support and resources, and they also provide telehealth doing ERP in many places across the world. To find out more or to sign up for their program or their ERP, go to treatmyocd.com. It's so good to be back in my space. I've been traveling for a few weeks, and I was so fortunate to be able to meet so many people face to face who live with OCD, sharing stories, and being really vulnerable. Because as you know, living with OCD, it can be really scary sharing our experiences. And on that particular topic, today we're talking about OCD and intimacy, OCD and sex. This is a really, really important topic that I feel like does not get talked about enough. So I just want to hit a few areas that I feel like I hear about a lot working with clients and through groups and things like that. First, I just want to say your sex life and your ability to want to or to be intimate can be severely disrupted when you're living with OCD. And it doesn't have to be any theme in particular. But I'll probably mainly focus on sexual intrusive thoughts in today's video. However, it can get disrupted no matter what themes and intrusive thoughts that you're having. But this is really common. And I think that because we don't hear about it a lot, if you are struggling in your sex life or in your relationship with sex or masturbation or your ability to feel aroused or fears around what you're getting aroused to or what you might orgasm to, this is very common. And it is so scary because first of all, it's just like when OCD starts to feel very real in our bodies. When it's disrupting things like our sex life, all of a sudden we see that as some sort of sign that, oh no, see, this is now impacting sex, masturbation, my inability to have pleasure. And so that might make it feel like this can't be OCD if this is how bad it's getting. No, this is so common. And I hear about this so much from people. And I experienced it not only when I had sexual intrusive thoughts, but I've experienced it so many other times when I've had different themes. And I mean, here's the thing, like sex, well, a lot of people have a complicated relationship with sex, so I'm going to make a lot of generalizations here, but just in general, I mean, we want to use sex for pleasure, right? To enjoy it, to explore our bodies, to connect with other individuals. And we can do that having sex with somebody, or we can do that with watching porn, masturbating, um, having imaginary, using your imagination, things like that. And OCD can come in and absolutely disrupt that. So there's a lot of ways that you can fall into this trap. And I'm just going to go over a few of them. First, avoidance completely. When you're having sexual intrusive thoughts, harm intrusive thoughts, any kind of intrusive thoughts, being as vulnerable as you are during sex, whether or not that is with another person or you are experiencing pleasure by yourself. That vulnerable moment of having an orgasm or reaching an orgasm is quite terrifying when you are fearful that intrusive thoughts are going to pop in and sabotage it. Not only because there's a lot of disgust around that and fears around whether or not we're having an orgasm to the intrusive thoughts, or because it's coming in right, we're having orgasm, what does that mean? But also, then there is the what if the intrusive thoughts made me have the orgasm, right? So then you kind of get into this what came first. So a lot of times people just avoid having sex in general or avoid experiencing pleasuring themselves. And it also may feel like, well, I don't want to have sex with someone Because if I'm having intrusive thoughts, now I'm not fully present with them. What if they know that I'm not present with them? And it, in general, is just a reminder that, oh my gosh, my brain is capable of having these horrible thoughts and it's ruining something that I really want to enjoy. So avoidance becomes a huge compulsion when it comes to sex. Now, hear me when I say that. Compulsion. The avoidance is a compulsion for whatever reason. And a lot of that is I just want to keep my brain safe and myself safe from believing that I'm capable of having an orgasm to these terrifying thoughts. Or what if I get turned on? Or what if it pops in while I'm having sex? And now I'm mentally reviewing back and I can't figure out whether or not I was turned on by the thoughts. It can become very scary. And then it can go into feeling like you don't want to do that to your partner if you're having sex with someone. You don't want to go in and not be authentic. You feel like you're doing something wrong. If they only knew what was going on in my brain, then they would think I was a monster. And then it's, am I a monster? And you can definitely go down that rabbit hole. The other piece is just how sad it is and just the feeling of despair that you might have, that OCD has taken this point of pleasure away from you, and the fears that it's never going to come back, the fears that you're never going to enjoy sex again, the fears that you'll never be able to have an orgasm or have sex or pleasure yourself without worrying that something horrible isn't going to pop into your head, which then goes into, I must be some monster to think this in the first place. And, or if you've had sex and those feelings have come, or those thoughts or images or feelings have come up, and now it's, I don't deserve to have sex moving forward because I had those thoughts. Or if you purposely brought up the thoughts, if you purposefully brought up images and feelings and you masturbated, or you had sex, or you had a groinal and then you chose to have sex or masturbate after that, kind of as a test to check. This is common. And I know that you are probably listening to this and thinking to yourself, all the things that you've said, maybe I've done that, but you have no idea I'm this horrible person because one time or however many times I purposefully brought up these thoughts. I purposefully brought up the feelings and images to see if I was attracted, to see if I could orgasm. And now you're worried you acted on it. Now you're worried. I did this on purpose, so I must be a monster. Or now you're going, well, did I orgasm because of this? Did I experience pleasure because of this? The themes, especially when you're dealing with taboo themes, it's hard enough to even do the act of sex when you feel like that part of your life has been shut down, the part that of having intimacy, sex, masturbation. But then to think, well, at one point I did have orgasm and those thoughts popped in my head, or I brought the thoughts on and then I did. I cannot live with myself. That must mean something horrible about me. Or I don't deserve to feel pleasure in the future because of this. It gets very confused about acting on. Now, I really want to remind you, and if you've seen any of my other videos about this, you're going to know what I'm saying is that testing, even extreme testing, is a compulsion. You're going to scramble it up in your mind to say, no, it's not because of this, or my intent was this, my intent. But if you're testing and checking, even if it is, you know, I'm just going to have the thought to see if I'm aroused, or I'm going to watch this kind of porn to see if I'm aroused, or I'm going to try to orgasm to see if, or in general, if I've had the groinal and I just need to masturbate to get it over with, you may struggle with the I have acted on it and therefore I don't deserve to ever have happiness because I'm a monster. Y'all, this is not uncommon. It's just that you're not going to hear about this a lot. But I'm telling you, I hear about it a lot from people. When OCD and sex gets intertwined, there is, first of all, just sex in general and being intimate is, again, this very vulnerable act. It's something that's very sacred. It's something that people can even have a lot of shame around anyway, have a lot of baggage around it. And then when OCD jumps in there, it could just make you feel like, hands up, I can't even have sex because OCD is just fucking with my head so much. I don't ever want to have OCD, I don't ever want to have sex again. And grieving that feeling of never being able to have the sex life that maybe you once had, or that you desired, or the intimate connection that you want to have with someone that you love, feeling like that has been taken away too. The grief that comes along with this is very real. The despair of everybody else is just, can have sex and explore their sexuality, and I can't because I'm hindered by what is going to happen during sex, or I'm not able to connect to my partner, or while I'm having sex, all I'm doing is thinking, do I want to have sex with this person, or do I want to have sex with somebody else? Or am I attracted to this person with sexual orientation OCD? It's, oh my goodness, am I attracted to this person, or am I attracted to a man or a woman? Going over and over and over, in relationship OCD, trying to have sex, but worrying that it's not good enough with your partner, or maybe you're not feeling that connected. So maybe this isn't the person for you. It just can go in so many different directions. My message to you here today is sex and intimacy is such a vulnerable place that OCD loves to attack. It is so easy for OCD to be like blowing that up, and for you to feel like it's never going to be the same and there's something wrong with me. I'm here to tell you this. When I had sexual orientation OCD years and years and years ago, I also had a complicated relationship with sex, with religion and things like that. And that's a whole other ball game too. That's a whole other video. But I really did believe in my mind. I used to use, like, I'd roll around with dudes and be like, I'd use it as a compulsion. Am I attracted? Do I feel turned on? Am I not turned on? Would I rather be with a woman? And it was so sad for me because I loved that physical connection and intimacy, but it felt like OCD stole that from me. And I went into therapy and thinking to myself, like, I'm never going to be able to get that back. I'm never going to be able to have a healthy sexual relationship with someone because these thoughts are always going to come in, yada, yada, yada. Y'all, I have a healthy sex life. I have healthy desires. I am able to enjoy sex. So many people can. Now, do I have images and stuff that pop up during sex? Do I have intrusive thoughts sometimes during sex? Yes. But I was able to work on those. I'm able to understand that that's how OCD can attack it. And I am able to enjoy having a sex life. If I can do this, you can do it. Please don't give in to the despair that you will never be able to enjoy and have this healthy sex life and ability to be intimate and connect to somebody else, or to enjoy pleasure and giving that to yourself. It is absolutely possible. And I also want to say, I'm so sorry that that has been taken away from you, because this is an important part and a very vulnerable part of our lives. And OCD does not have to be what steals that from you forever. I promise you can get that back and you can work through it. So I hope this has been helpful. I know that you can feel really alone with all of this, but everything that I have said, I have either experienced or heard straight from individuals who live with OCD over and over and over. So you are not alone. If you're interested in services for peer support, or my groups or the community, please go to chrissyhodges.com. And if you're interested in services from NoCD, with them doing ERP treatment, go to treatmyocd.com. And we'll see you next time.